They said, we were well acquainted with work. We were well acquainted with worry. We were well acquainted with stress and struggle, trials and tribulations. And very late in our lives, when we met our teacher, we learned that life could include peace. It could include joy. So whatever time in your life that you encounter the sacred teachings of truth, whatever time in your life that you realize life can include peace, life can include joy, the professional and family responsibilities will still be there, and you will be engaged in them from this energy of peace, from this energy of joy. Whatever work is yours to do in the world will be here, and the fuel for that work will be just gladness, joy, willingness. And when we come from that energy of gladness and joy and willingness, all of a sudden life transforms. Drudgery doesn't exist anymore. Everything becomes curiosity, inquiry, caring, interest, exploration, wonder, awe, amazement. Good morning, welcome, 1,000 welcomes to all. And we are meditating today on lasting gifts. This is part of our series on full heart living. So I'm inviting us as we listen. I share many teachings, many different entry points, many meditations, and you'll notice the ones that really call to you, the ones that really resonate with you. And I invite you to keep working with those. So feel the truth that they help encounter right now as we listen, but then also allow yourself to be nurtured and transformed and sustained by that truth. Allow that truth to come to life in your life, in your body, your heart, your mind, your encounters with other humans as well. So this question of lasting gifts, what are the best gifts? What are the gifts that last? Is a question that comes up in the Mahabharata. And so I'm going to share some of the teachings about what is the best gift, what is the lasting gift. And I'm also inviting each of us to think and to feel inwardly the best gifts that we have received in our lives, the lasting gifts that we have received in our lives. And I am betting, because of the energetic shift that immediately occurred, that one of those gifts is the energy of love. Like if we have known love, if anyone has loved us in our lives, that is one of the best gifts and one of the lasting gifts. And so if we come into human form and we are blessed, we receive that love through a pure-hearted human father, pure-hearted human mother, pure-hearted aunts, uncles, grandparents, aunts, neighbors, cousins, teachers, friends. I will occasionally encounter humans who say, I never experienced that from my family. And so be aware, if you are a human who has been loved by those who are your family, not every human has that experience. And it is a gift. It is a lasting gift. It's not a guarantee. When we all agree to take form, when we all agree to travel into time and space, some of those pathways will include living a human life where we don't experience love from our human families. And our souls know that going in. Before we're here in the physical, when we're in the non-physical, our souls know that. And our souls say, oh, I'm up for this. I'm up for this challenge of not experiencing that pure-hearted love from my family. And so just imagine for yourself what you would be learning in that particular timeline, because we're all connected. And so what that means is that if we have been loved by those in our families, we're also connected to those who are not loved by those in their families. And what the soul learns from each of those particular pathways is unique. It's always going to be unique to you. It's never been like the way that love is expressed in your particular life. It's as unique as a snowflake. It's as unique as a fingerprint. It's as unique as your own signature heart energy. Completely fresh. Absolutely brand new. And one of the things that it is likely that we are learning, whichever the configuration of our lives is, it is to know that I am of this energy of love. And so if we are blessed and we receive that through parents or siblings or cousins or aunts or uncles or grandparents, that energy is helping us know I am of the energy of love. And so I can be that energy in my own heart, whether or not my family stays here with me in embodiment in the physical. So then I can love myself forward as the beautiful ones we love leave the physical. I can keep loving myself forward, knowing I am of that energy of love. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. If you are enjoying this content, please like, share, and subscribe. It helps joy travel. And so then feel your way into the lifetimes, the timelines, where humans grow up and they're not loved by their families. And it might be that the first time a human is kind to them is when they go to school and they encounter a kind teacher. So imagine what that would be like. Living through like 5 years of your life or 6 years of your life before you encountered kindness. There are humans for whom this is true. And even so, what those humans are learning, what we always are learning is, I am of that energy of love. I am an expression of that love. And if I or you or others face that aspect of a journey where we encounter years that feel like, in the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament, it's described as the years that the locusts have eaten. If we encounter those years where it feels like the locusts have eaten those years, when we encounter the teachings of truth, when we encounter someone who is established and steady in the reality that underlies all human experience and all change, all of the years that the locusts have eaten are restored to us. They come back to us. And so another way of saying this, I'm going to be very practical about this. Take that story of the human who was born, it's an actual story, didn't experience love or kindness until they met their first grade teacher. And then experienced love and kindness from their first grade teacher and realized, I am this energy of kindness. Like, that is my true nature. That is my own reality. Looking back over those first 5 years of their life, they realized that love was actually with me all along. The humans in my life were so afflicted and so confused, so self-forgetful, that they didn't remember it for themselves. And so they were not able to share that with me. But now that I see the truth and the reality, I see that love has been with me. That is the core of my existence, whether the other humans in my life are able to share that love with me or not. And so that would be hard-earned wisdom. But for that particular life, for that particular timeline, that's a divine gift. That realization of that love coming through that first grade teacher is a divine gift. And so for you, for yourself, to identify, where are the lasting gifts that I have received? Where did they come from? Who were the humans? Whether it was family members or friends or teachers, whether it was Swami Nityananda, another person who shared the teachings of truth, who was able to just see that reality and be that reality, knowing that energy of love is with us the whole way through. Whether other humans remember it and reflect it back to us, whether they are able to share that love with us and be that love for us, that is my bones. And that's the bones of everyone else who's ever been a human. That is my beating heart. And it is the beating heart of everyone else who's ever been a human. That is the breath that breathes through me. And it is the breath that breathes through everyone else who's ever been a human. And as soon as you realize that, there is nothing that will keep you from being kind, universally kind. Kind to the people who deserve it, kind to the people who don't deserve it, kind to the people who remember this reality, kind to the people who don't remember this reality. Because you will know that there were moments in your journey that you remembered this reality, and there were moments in your journey when you did not. And you will be able to say, by grace, by this limitless light that is here in my bones, that is here as my very life and existence, that love was with me the whole way through. That love is the awareness that lives through me, that dreams and smiles and breathes and cries and laughs through me. It is the energy of creativity that is here through me. And so there is just nothing that will stop you. Nothing in time and space can possibly stop you from living in that generosity, from living that truth and that reality. You'll also notice something, that when you are in contact with that love, I want to be very clear about this. It does not ever justify the pain that humans create out of ignorance. And when you are in contact with that love, it heals anywhere within yourself that you have experienced pain because of humans being ignorant. And so just allow that healing to occur. Allow that love to fill you up. Allow it to reshape you. It reshapes the cells of our body. It reshapes the pathways in our brain. It reshapes the way that we are able to experience and know and name and realize what is lasting, what is true, what is real. It helps you evaluate your life and the lives of others according to divine ways of understanding, rather than according to human ways of understanding. And so notice as well, where have I been evaluating my life, judging my life according to human ways of understanding? And where have I been allowing myself to look at my life with the eyes of divine love and wisdom and understanding? And how may I let go of those human judgments and allow divine love and wisdom and understanding to fill me, so that I look at my life? And very often this happens in retrospect. So very often you come into contact with this teaching of truth and you realize, oh, I'm going to use that example, which is a true story. You realize I was loved the whole way through. Even while all the other humans in my life were not able to express love for me, I was still loved the whole way through. Life itself was loving me the whole way through, until I got to that first grade teacher who was kind to me, who was able to be a human reflecting that kindness in pure ways. And then, for that particular life, then the pathway for that life becomes, how may I construct a life that allows that love to be stable and visible in me? And how may I allow myself to construct a life that allows that love to be stable and visible and to share through me in ways that are pure and generous and kind and honorable and can share only through me? And so another way of looking at this is, if you have been loved, you have what is most precious. And I don't know of any human portfolio that acknowledges that. I don't know of any private wealth management company that acknowledges that. So see if you can create a different index for your life. And it is the index of pure love, unconditional, universal caring and kindness. Where have I encountered that? How do I feel that? How does that express naturally through me? Because if you have been in contact with that unconditional love, and you have, if you are here, you are in contact with that unconditional love, that is the most precious gift. That is the lasting gift. That means in consciousness you are a millionaire. Congratulations! You might not have known this. And this is what this teaching, this ancient sacred teaching, is telling us. So I'm about to share some of the teachings the way that the yogis put it. But what I just said is what we know in our bones. And as soon as I asked that question, what is the best gift you have ever received? What is the lasting gift that you have received? Everyone went straight there, to that energy of love. When we are in contact with that energy of love, I'm just going to also point out, we're also in contact with strength. So if you think about that energy of love, it is the opposite of weak. It is incredibly powerful. It means that nothing in time and space can shake you. Nothing can make you waver because you are in contact with that energy. So here's what the yogis say. The highest and best gifts, the lasting gifts. An assurance unto all creatures with love and affection, and abstention from every kind of injury. Acts of kindness and favor done to a person in distress. Whatever gifts are made without the givers ever thinking of them as gifts made by him constitute the highest and best of gifts. And so it's this generosity which doesn't even notice that it's generous. It's kindness that doesn't think, oh, look how kind I'm being. It is helpfulness that doesn't think, oh, I'm noticing how helpful I am being. It is spontaneous, it is natural, it is effortless, it is free, it is joyful, it is noble, it is honorable, it is fun. I mean, it's filled with this exuberance of life force energy. The yogis also say this. This is a very interesting teaching. Sweet speech is a form of generosity. So truthfulness is a form of generosity, but being able to speak truth sweetly is a form of generosity. And so just to give ourselves that gift of speaking truth sweetly, and knowing that as we do that, we give ourselves a gift of generosity. Here's further advice from the yogis. Conquer the mean by generosity, the untruthful by truth, the wicked by forgiveness, and dishonesty by honesty. And so I'm going back to the opening phrase, conquer the mean by generosity. And so mean can mean stingy. It can mean people who are not being generous. And what this says is, if you encounter someone who is not being generous, who's being stingy, generosity is the most appropriate response. To be the energy of generosity is helpful. I also take it that this teaching can mean if you encounter someone who is being unkind, generosity is also the most appropriate response as well. So generosity of spirit, in that case, would be a really helpful counterbalance to the energy of unkindness that you were aware of or observing. And so again, what this teaching is saying is anything that you would love to help transform, focus on what you would love to see more of. So as soon as you see an act of meanness, whether that's an act of stinginess or it's an act of unkindness, bring more generosity into yourself. Bring more givingness into yourself. Bring more love and courage and encouragement into yourself. And you can see how that strengthens you then. And then you can also see how you're able to neutrally witness and observe that person's engaged in that act of meanness or that act of stinginess because they don't know how much more fun generosity is. But then there's no sort of reactivity in you. You're not sort of getting entangled in their act of unkindness or in their act of stinginess. You're just moving in that much more joyful, exuberant, glad energy of generosity. The yogis also say, be large-hearted. And so allow your heart to continually expand. Anytime that you become aware of, oh, I seem to be experiencing, Swami Nityananda would call it a road bump. Every time I seem to encounter a road bump, just expand. That's what we're invited to do. We're invited to expand. So I encourage and invite my heart to expand. Whatever it encounters in time and space, let my heart continually expand. And then in the Chandogya Upanishad, it's actually interesting. Generosity is a requirement. So if we want to live in the blessed realms, and if we want to realize supreme love, generosity is a requirement. So here's the requirements that are listed sort of as basic foundational practices. Spiritual practice is a requirement. Giving is a requirement. Straightforwardness, universal kindness, and truthfulness. And those are listed as basic elements that help us live in the blessed realms. We don't have to wait. We don't have to leave the physical before we live in the blessed realms. So we could keep meditating on this for so long, but I think one of the things that I'll just end with is a story that I came across from two humans who had lived a very long, rich life prior to encountering their teacher. So they had married, they had wonderful families, they had wonderful professional careers, and then relatively late in their lives, they encountered their teacher. And this is the realization that they said. It almost just makes me cry. They said, we were well acquainted with work, we were well acquainted with worry, we were well acquainted with stress and struggle, trials and tribulations. And very late in our lives, when we met our teacher, we learned that life could include peace. It could include joy. So whatever time in your life that you encounter the sacred teachings of truth, whatever time in your life that you realize life can include peace, life can include joy, the professional and family responsibilities will still be there. And you will be engaged in them from this energy of peace, from this energy of joy. Whatever work is yours to do in the world will be here. And the fuel for that work will be just gladness, joy, willingness. And when we come from that energy of gladness and joy and willingness, all of a sudden life transforms. Drudgery doesn't exist anymore. Everything becomes curiosity, inquiry, caring, interest, exploration, wonder, awe, amazement. We become aware. So I'm circling back to the very beginning. The opening teaching that I shared from the Bhagavad Gita is that this whole realm, all of this, is the manifesting power of the divine. All of this. We are continually seeing and feeling and participating in the manifesting power of the divine. And I said at the outset, if I have a heart in front of my face, the way that that manifesting power of the divine streams through me, it's going to create full heart. It's going to create through me this energy of love, this kindness, this joy, this beauty, this exuberance. If I have a tic-tac-toe pattern in front of myself, and these are where my thoughts are, that energy of radiance, the Gayatri tells us, radiance projects into this realm. We are helping to shape the forms that radiance takes. This means, as soon as I realize this, I have a joyful responsibility to choose thoughts that create more love, more kindness, more assurance, more generosity, more forgiveness, more gladness, more wisdom. The Bhagavad Gita also tells us that this manifesting power of the divine is guided by divine intelligence. Another way to put this, look back at your life. Every moment of your life, the manifesting power of the divine was fully present. Every moment of your life. And notice what happens then. All the human struggles melt away. All the human strains and judgments melt away. And you begin to see, I know the manifesting power of the divine was fully there in that moment of my life. I know that everything in my life was guided by divine intelligence. And so what happens then is you are free in relation to all of the events and the experiences of the past. And you are able to be fully present in the now. In the now is a pivot point for creating fresh and new. In the now is where the energy of wholeness and healing is available. In the now is where the energy of all the beauty, all the love, everything that you enjoy and adore, it is here in the now. And as soon as we heal the past and allow ourselves to be fully present in the now, then that energy of radiance is able to stream forth in boundless ways, limitless, exuberant, glad ways. The shape that our life and our world take will change. And so for each of us, this is our task, to allow ourselves to be fully present in the now and to ask the divine manifesting power, it's here fully in the now. What is the guidance of divine intelligence? What is the guidance of divine love and wisdom and generosity and joy and gladness? How would that divine intelligence guide my thoughts, my words, my choices, my actions, so that I can create a world in which this is the truth? Always. An assurance unto all creatures with love and affection, abstention from every kind of injury, acts of kindness and favor done to a person in distress, gifts made without the givers ever thinking of them as gifts made by you. And that is what you are. That is what you do continually. You are that energy of generosity. You are that energy of givingness. You are that energy of the radiant manifesting power of the divine. Thank God, and God bless us all.